Alright guys, so we're here again today, and we have some more news to talk about. We're going to go through the league in the latter half of the video as well. So yeah, like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you are new as always, and I guess we should just hop right into it here, because there's a fair bit to discuss at the start of this video, and a few clips I wanted to show you throughout the course of it. So, of course, yesterday's video was talking about the Optic Gaming situation, and the potential imminent collapse of the brand. This is a report by Pandax92, who's done some interviews with Edgar, the rich guy, in the last few weeks. So her source tells her, expect an announcement of the sale of Infinite Esports to Immortals Gaming by May the 31st, which is what we've heard that Texas Esports want this sale to be done. This sale allegedly may include the end of the Optic Gaming brand, which is of course what a lot of people are fearing, and well, for good reason, at least in the short term. It must be said that with franchising coming around at the start of next season, of course, the Optic Gaming brand was always going to die in Call of Duty. It was going to have to change to something probably Houston related if Optic did even get a spot. But at the current time, as we've talked about, didn't look likely that Optic Gaming were going to get a spot anyway. And now with all this Immortal stuff going on, well, let's put it this way. The players weren't going to be playing under the Optic Gaming brand anyway come next season. And now it seems like they might be not playing under the Optic Gaming brand a lot sooner than that. However, by Adam Fitch, reporter at Esports Insider, says that some of the claims are false. There was this claim in the title to do with some sort of banknote, collateralized $20 million banknote. But Adam Fitch said this side of the story is false, so maybe there's slightly more to it. But I still wouldn't be surprised if it was sold by May the 31st, as we've heard for a little while now. Another thing to mention here, Embos takes creator for Optic Gaming out of his bio, which I guess is another indication of things to come. And Aches even tweets this. So Aches was going off yesterday. I'll show you a clip from an interview later in the day, which is probably going to be part of the title of the video because it was kind of funny. And then Aches says this, yeah, my watch has ended. Of course, him having this legendary rivalry with Optic Gaming over the years it's been pretty damn impressive. And it's one of the sad things about Optic Gaming's era potentially ending, or not really an era, but you know, just Optic Gaming existing, because Pat versus Optic was always fun, and it's not quite the same maybe when they're playing different players. Some people in the comments section below yesterday were mentioning, for good reason, that a lot of these players might just consider retiring after if this thing goes down, which I can consider quite likely. They've all won the World Championship, apart from the new guys, Dashi and TJ. Of course, they're not going to retire. But the likes of Scump, it's honestly possible that he would prefer just to, you know, join a different organization and start streaming rather than continue playing Call of Duty at a competitive level. It's tough to say, but it's going to be a huge few weeks for CoD and what the scene looks like, and whether some of you guys are going to even stick around, because of course this is a big deal. So one other thing to mention here before we get on with the league, wanted to touch on 100 Thieves because they picked up Courage yesterday. Quite a funny video they had introducing it. But one other thing I wanted to mention, I just thought I'd put this clip on screen for you guys in just a second here. Nadeshot talking about Scump, Krim and Karma, how he wanted to sign those guys last season but couldn't do it, but he would have done.
But I just can't fathom even the thought of dropping the Call of Duty team. I mean, shit, I wish they would have. I would have signed Scump in a heartbeat. I mean, we tried to sign Karma and Crimsix in the offseason, but holy shit, man.
Now, this is kind of old news to some degree, because Nadeshot talked about a while ago at the start of the season how, you know, who wouldn't try and acquire these players if possible. But it's still interesting how things could have gone down. And of course, on that 100 Thieves team right now, if there was anyone who was the most replaceable, it was probably Enable. I think that Enable has done quite a good job. I think if you guys think back to when 100 Thieves won London, and in other videos, he's been getting super close to Nadeshot, posing with the photo, giving like speeches at like 100 Thieves gatherings and stuff like that. So Enable's definitely trying to get on the right side of Nadeshot, as in like trying to become an undroppable kind of bond within the team, which maybe to some degree he is. But if there's someone that's the most droppable, like for example, if you got the opportunity to put Karma in that team right now instead of Enable, in theory, you've got to be thinking, that's a pretty damn decent trade. But of course, the other half of it is that Enable is your SMG duo, so would Karma even want to be forced onto the SMG? It's interesting, but still, when these kind of caliber players, Scarb, Karma, Crimsix, of course the other guys in Tej and Dashi potentially coming on the market, it's very difficult, even for a team like 100 Thieves that have won the previous event, to turn these guys down, because this is a completely new situation. Optic Gaming are not a normal team. It's not like, oh, we won the last event, so we don't need to make any changes. At the end of the day, it's Optic Gaming. These are huge name players, huge branding, and I think that 100 Thieves would do well to try and acquire one of them at least, if the situation does go down post Anaheim. The roster change period starts on June the 17th, so stay tuned for that. So let's go on with the league. First series of the day, 100 Thieves versus Denial, and this is a pretty fun one. 100 Thieves looking very, very strong again in both hardpoints. Their hardpoint has honestly been just superb, and like Enable has a 1.6 the first map here. These scoreboards are courtesy of EasyMac. Some of the later ones are courtesy of Cam Allen. I'll leave both their links down in the description box below. Trying to do a bit of a mix and match at the current time, because I really like these scoreboards from these particular ones showing the series from EasyMac, but then the actual individual scoreboards for the map and for the series, I prefer Cam Allen's because it shows the total kills. So yeah, I'll leave both their links in the description box below if you want to check them out, follow their Twitters, all that good stuff. So yeah, firstly here, 100 Thieves versus Denial. The respawns, once again, just superb in favour of 100 Thieves. Denial looking decent. Actually winning the control was impressive. Of course, Brack does have a 1.3 KD, but overall Denial played that relatively well. That round 5, 100 Thieves really should have won it, but a couple of mistakes on their side, which you don't usually see in control, definitely not went to their favour. And the game 2 is, I guess, the real standout here, because if 100 Thieves can start winning their game 2s, now keep in mind that Denial and the teams with rated Joe and Bance, like the Red Reserve squads, earlier in the season, last season at times, they always used to be poor in their game 2s. It used to always be their downfall that if they happened to lose game 1, they'd go down 2-0, and even if they won game 1, they couldn't stretch out the series. Their game 2s are always pretty damn poor. So I don't know to what degree this is 100 Thieves looking much better in search, or Denial not necessarily looking as good. We'll have to see over the course of the week, but it must be mentioned that if 100 Thieves can start really performing in their search and destroys, because let's not forget, at London they had a negative search and destroy record, but still won the tournament, so with their dominant respawn play. So if that's possible and they can step up their search game, could you imagine what this team is gonna... It's so fearsome. And this is the final series scoreboard. Priester went off in this one, 88 kills overall, a 1.24 overall KD, and yeah, Slasher didn't really have to do anything this series. He had a couple of moments here or there, but yeah, very impressive stuff from 100 Thieves. They take down Denial, of course. Denial have done pretty damn well to go 1-1 over their first 2 matches from my estimation. So moving onwards here, this is game 1 of the series, Splice versus Elevate, and this was a crazy map. Now, at the end here, this was actually 250 to 245. Splice ended up taking this one, but I think these figures are correct, because I'm pretty sure Splice went up very heavy early on, and then Elevate brought it back, went into the lead. This is an Arsenal hardpoint, and then Splice took it in the end. Bit of a choke from Elevate, to be honest. They had a great opportunity to close it out, but Splice clutched up, and Looney just went off. He was honestly just dominating the vast majority of this series. Really had some moments, and Breezy as well on the other side. It was Looney versus Breezy for a lot of this, and I was very impressed with both of their performances. So yeah, map number 2 here, we have the... I skipped map 2 and 3, going on to map 4, because after map 3, when Elevate managed to win it, the reverse sweep began. And this was just incredible, because after map 3, map 4... Elevate just romped through it, and as you can see in map number 1, Splice were the ones starting out with like an 80-0 lead. This time it was Elevate, and they did not slow down one little bit. Wayless had a fantastic map. The entirety of Splice has got completely fried, and I'll put a clip on screen right now of the end of this game with Temp having a face of kind of disbelief, like what the hell is going on? How am I going 9-21 against these guys? And we're going all the way to game 5 again, and yeah, Jerd was the only one who really put up a fight on the side of Splice. Got absolutely destroyed. And fair play to Elevate, because this is a team which, well, the French guys of Denial, they actually beat Splice, and I think it was a reverse sweep as well, the first time they played Splice in the league a couple of months ago. And now, Breezy and Whalers are back on this Elevate team, alongside Profizi, Emery's and Skies, which is a very interesting team in its own right. It doesn't really seem like it should be able to work, but it really is doing well. And then we can see in this game 5 right here, well, these are the final scoreboards from EasyMac, and yeah, they win game 5 6-4. Splice went up 4-0, and Elevate brought it back all the way. And this is something that a championship caliber team really can't do. But it must be noted that when Splice did lose to Denial, I think that the very next event was Fort Worth, when they went on and came second and made the grand finals. So it's tough to say yet whether Splice obviously need a change, but with Gunless potentially being on the market, apparently that's something they might be considering. So yeah, impressive stuff from Elevate, but it's somewhat tough to read into this, because Splice did of course lose to that Denial team before and then bounced back very strongly, but clearly Elevate is a force to be reckoned with, there's no denying that. So let's go through the next series here. These are the final series, the standings. Breezy with 87 kills overall, Looney has 83, really not a good series from Temp. After his 1.7 KD yesterday, today he's down to a 0.8, not what you usually see. If he steps it up a little bit, I think Splice can get back to form, but clearly an off series from him and accuracy. So yeah, let's go through this Envy series. Heretics made some changes here to what their roles were doing. I was a little bit confused, because typically they've got Method Sick on the SMG, and they've just got him running in first and dropping a 0.8 or 0.9 with Metals alongside him, and then you've got Lucky and Journey on your Maddoxes, and then Sukri on your AR. But this time, for some reason, Sukri was on an SMG, Methods was using a KN at times, he had the Maddox in hand a little bit. It was a very strange why they decided to make this role change, and as a result, Envy win all the respawns pretty damn comfortably. Impressive map 1 from Envy, of course. Game 2, this is this is the game 2 scoreboard, and Heretics very much ran away with this one on the Gridlock S&D. Journey had a fantastic map, but then we go into map number 3, and a similar thing occurs. You know, Envy really do run away with the respawns, and I guess you kind of expect that with the slaying power on their team. Silly does seem to be immune to Vamos, and then game number 4 was once again pretty damn comfortable. At the end, Heretics actually looked like they were going to make a comeback, because there was a really big lead at one point, 226 to 110 on frequency hardpoint, but yeah, Envy did manage to close it out in the end. Aches had a really good last map with the KN in hand, and I'll show you the interview here post-game that he had, because Nameless, after their series loss yesterday against Denial, was saying, oh, you know, Pat's managed to swindle the Maddox back in his hands, like how's he pulled this off? But yeah, Aches kind of claps back at him in the post-game interview.
Matchups, but I mean, we're looking confident. Just gonna hopefully come out the dub and get back from that Denial loss yesterday. But other than that, I mean, Nameless, those analyst desks over here. I put this guy on the desk, won a world championship, so I'm not worried about it. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but the guy's insane. I've been using the KN on that map. Listen, bro, I'm done. You're on the desk. I'm playing, bro. Just stay quiet until it comes to you. Back to you, Jess.
Well, thank you so much for that, Pat. And you know what? This has been your PlayStation's reaction. For now, over to the desk.
Isn't it so cute when they fight?
He's gonna be up here with me.
So here we go then, the final series standings. Aches with 75 kills, Desi with 80 overall. He said in yesterday's Denial series that he had an issue with his Cronus. He had some input delay, because for some reason, even in tournament mode, it doesn't come pre-installed with 0 input delay. It has some for some reason, so he had to manually do that, and he didn't do it yesterday. So today he was back on form with a 1.33 KD, kind of what you expect from him at this point. And yeah, impressive series from Envy. Moving onwards here, E United versus Enigma 6 to close out the day. This is a pretty fun one. E United went up 2-0. Map 1 was comfortable. Abizi went off here, as you can see, 31 and 26 with the SMG in hand. Game 2, Enigma 6 actually took this, and it was pretty impressive. Pristini managed to drop the hot donor. But yeah, Enigma 6, honestly, given their recent roster changes, Frosty, of course, pretty damn good, sniper in hand at times, going back and forth with Simp, and yeah, Simp didn't have the greatest S&D in this series by any means, but of course, you know, it's 1-1, not the end of the world for United. They come out and take the control pretty comfortably. Kisma absolutely demolished on this map, but it wasn't quite enough for Enigma 6, and then game 4 was frankly insane. this, like, E United had a bit of a lead, and then at the start, and then Enigma 6 brought it all the way back. They had the lead here, as you can see from Cam Allen's scoreboard, and E United brought it out. And then we had this mental situation on the final, well, it wasn't actually the final hill, but it was the kind of open courtyard hardpoint before the rotation over towards the jet, and, like, somehow Enigma 6 were holding on. E United looked like they were going to get in. They had just enough time to get it, and Jet Li went absolutely huge, to be fair to him. 28 in 30, but he got a ridiculous two-piece he shouldn't have got. Somehow slid into the hill and contested for just enough time and got another kill that that E United couldn't quite win off that hardpoint. They only got to like 247, I think, or 244, so something that wasn't quite enough to win. And Enigma 6 had the rotation over towards Jet, but yeah, Jet Li just super clutched up in that to take it all the way to Game 5. But yeah, E United tend to have a habit of doing this, I think. When it goes to a Game 5, I always favour E United over a lower tier team like Enigma 6. I feel like Enigma 6 were a solid team by all means. But yeah, this map on Arsenal couldn't really get close. Clayster went off. He had an ace, I think, in one of the rounds, and was playing very well. It's honestly nice to see that Simp didn't really do much here, but because Simp has the sniper in hand, it means that we get to see Clayster without the sniper in his hand, which is a big benefit because I don't like when Clay snipes. I don't think it's to the benefit of the team. When he's got the Maddox in hand, as we can see, works out pretty well. So yeah, this is the final series scoreboard. Kismet with a 105 kill performance over the course of the series. Very impressive stuff. Denial versus Elevate first up might slightly take Denial, but it's very tough to say. Heretics Enigma 6 I think is also very 50-50. Might just favour Enigma 6 unless Heretics change their roles again. Splice versus United got to favour United with Splice's loss yesterday. And then 100 Thieves versus Envy is honestly very exciting. I think I'm going to favour 100 Thieves, but probably in a Game 5. I think that's going to be a very exciting series. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you next time.